Pathgar, are you ready to have a sexy war against Count Boogie?
Why can't we make love, not war? Wait, you tricked me into
You
saying
just
that.
said that.
Yeah,
you totally said that. Well, okay, then I guess we can make love. Make sweet whoopee lovin' love with you, Path Girl.
You totally walked me into saying that. What the actual fuck?
I just want the listeners to know that after all of these years, Path Girl has now just finally copped to her true feelings about me. I don't know if this is some sort of intervention you're going to need to have with your husband.
No, he's outside right now. I could go fuck him right now. So there we go. We could really make love.
Well, I'm just saying, you offer to make love to me, and you pretend to be repulsed by me. It's okay. It's okay, Path Girl. I understand. Kathy had to put up the same front. It's okay. It's okay to want me a little bit. It's okay.
Nope. Sorry. I have an allergy.
Now, this is the defensiveness. I get it. It's okay. It's a natural part of embarrassment when somebody that is so clearly godlike in your presence that you just instantly want to be with sexually, that, you got to kind of, and then you're not going to get it, because
I don't want it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Do you feel your sex life is quite lame? Scared that your desires might be strange? Come and join the kinky world of play. Perverted Podcast.
Pathgirl wants me. Pathgirl totally wants me. She wants me. Pathgirl wants me so bad. She wants me so bad. Oh. Hello and welcome to Perverted Podcast, the show where we explore the adventures of the kinky lifestyle, sex, and the human mind.
Recording on Zencaster, where spring might have sprung, but I still have Halloween on my heart, or at least on my butt. I'm Pathgirl.
I am Count Boogie, and I am assuming that means you, in your play scene last night, used some of your little ghost. Is it a ghost?
I have a couple. I have 2 that are ghosts, and I have 1 that's a tombstone. I have tombstones on my butt.
So that's a riding crop.
No, actually, it's an evil stick. It's one of those. It's a shorter. It's kind of like a riding crop where it's a thin carbonite wand, and it's got different little kind of resin shapes on it. So 2 of them I have a ghost, 1 glows in the dark, but the one we used last night is a tombstone and it says RIP on it. So I have little, it wasn't hit hard enough to get the RIP imprint. You have to really hit hard to get that, but I have little tombstones all over my butt. It's
so you went to the party last night, I take it?
Yes. Got to go to a party. The NC Croft did a Shamrock themed St. Patty's Day, a little late St. Patty's Day party. And the party was actually very full last night. The last one they had was a little quieter. This one was actually kind of packed. So had hung out with the Kinky Tribe and saw a couple of other friends of the show there last night. But the funny thing is, so I was wearing a Shamrocks and Shenanigans green shirt. I don't wear green, but I did it for the party. And Donis and I started going through some of my kinky clothes, and I have a pile of clothes that I keep around for getting torn off me. Some really cheap clothes. Yeah, some really cheap clothes like bras and shirts. And I found a pair of green underwear. And then I said to Donis, I was like, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you like rip these off me in the middle of the scene. He goes, well, we could do it Hulk style, where he used to cut the sides a bit so that way Hulk Hogan used to tear his shirts off.
So it actually rips off evenly.
Mm-hmm. So Donis and I, we were waiting for a cross, but the crosses were kind of busy, so we got a spanking bench. So we had slit the sides of the underwear a little bit, and I had another pair of thong underneath. So we were playing next to 2 of our friends from the tribe, a guy and a girl. I don't know if I could say their names because I'll just leave them out. But he goes to them, he goes, hey, watch this. And he grabs the underwear and he yanks it off and it rips. So he's left holding my underwear, and the girl goes, oh, wow, magic.
Magic. Behold.
I did hear a couple of people kind of go, woohoo, in the background.
Woohoo! Behold, the ass
Yes.
doth been
Yes,
revealed
yes.
in a kinky way.
Pretty much. We did do something really cool, though, which I never knew you could do. So the couple that was playing next to us, they were doing a violet wand scene, and he had all the attachments with the metal fingertips and metal things. But the funny thing was, so Donis went up to the girl and said, "Hey, is it okay if I touch your hand?" So he was getting shocked while she was getting shocked.
Yeah.
But then he touched her, and then he touched me with his other hand. And I got shocked. And I was like, holy fuck, I didn't realize it would carry that long.
Oh, it'll travel. Yeah. I mean, we've done experiments. We can get it. It really starts to taper off after about the third person. And it also depends on, not to use any correct terms, but basically the electrical capacity of a human. So, because different humans, electricity travels differently through their skin because of the way the skin is built, and the oils, all the things that conduct whatever. So I'm sure we could go into some nerd. We're already going to go into a nerd topic in a little bit, so we'll avoid the nerd. But yeah, it'll travel depending on the people. It can travel as much as 5, 6, 7 people before it really starts to get so low that you can't feel it.
I never knew that.
Yeah, we used to do 3 a lot. You have and for those that are new, the violet wand is it's an electrical tool that you hold, and it plugs into the wall, but the tool actually converts the dangerous amperage into non-dangerous voltage. So, and then it has an extension. You put a little thing on the end, and it can either be a light bulb or a certain conducting object that fill, they have different colors and glowing things. And then when you put it near the skin, it seeks to ground itself, and then it'll give you a shock. So it creates a little arc. So it's not necessarily when you touch directly against the skin. It's when you go a little bit away from the skin that the electricity seeking the ground wants to jump. And so that's where you get that little zap in there, and you can put all sorts of attachments into it. But yeah, it's a lot.
It was kind of neat. It was because like I've never done a violet wand scene. I've had people kind of shock me a little bit with a violet wand, and it really depends on like the attachment you put on. I mean, you could just put like a little stick on there, and you get like a kind of pinpoint thing. But there's other people I've seen metallic floggers that you can kind of drag across the skin, so it kind of gives like this crackling sensation. But it was just really it was funny because it was just when I got that shock, I said over the guy's name is his antagonist. I said, I didn't agree to be taught by antagonists. And we started laughing.
That's funny.
But but then Donis and I continued on with our scene. He used the big pizza paddle on my butt, and the what else did we use? That little chain flogger that I have, and a thick stick where it's got like the thick side and the thin side. So if you want thuddy or if you want stingy. But yes, he was actually using the tombstone a lot. But I've played on a spanking bench once or twice before. I never really liked it because the ones I've used were the saddle horse kind where you kind of have to straddle it. This one was kind of get to lean over, so I got to stand up a little bit and arch my back. But it was kind of nice. But it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a much needed scene, and got some cuddling. Although I had to use he brought his aftercare blanket. My aftercare blanket has kitties on it. His has Tom Selleck.
Well, so you got cuddled by Tom Selleck. Good old Magnum.
Yes.
Good old blast from the past, Tom Selleck.
The kids can Google it.
The kids can Google it. Tom Selleck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Who I think is still alive. I don't know.
Yes,
but
yes.
No, didn't he die?
Show Blue Bloods. Yes.
Oh, okay.
No, Tom Selleck is still alive. I'm pretty sure he is.
Good. Congratulations, Tom Selleck. Yes. Very good. And it is good that you had a good play scene. And now, of course, I'm going to go and look at the dusty box that is my Violet Wand kit in storage. And I'm like, wow, I had a lot of fun because it's so fun because the electricity just travels through so many things.
Oh, yeah.
And you can have so much fun with those attachments. I have one attachment where I have a metal bar that's stuck into the Violet Wand, and that has a chain, like a 4-foot chain. And then at the end of the chain, I have an attachment that holds a big glass light bulb. And so when you light it, it kind of does like the eye of the storm thing in that thing at the end. And you can literally, and I would stand over people and I would just swing it and light it. And it gives you a shock, so they're scared of it. And I'd swing it like around their face, and I'd be like, I'm going to get your nose. And they'd be like, you fucking asshole, because they're tied down. And, and then you zap them. There's so much fun. I mean, it's so, if you're new to this, just get ready to have your mind constantly opened every other day to some new way to create a sensation on a body. And I think about before I got into this, and I did little things, and it's just a never-ending roller coaster of creativity. And even now that I'm not playing much, I'm still hearing of new, interesting things that people are doing. And it makes me, I get really excited. I still just get really nerdy. And so we're going to go extra nerd today.
All right.
We got some mail, and we're going to read it. Perverted mailbox, because you need it. Yeah!
All right. I don't know if this is a host topic or an academic topic, but and I didn't know exactly, Path Girl, how to approach this, because it's an essay and a definition that was written by a longtime listener, Twisted Logician.
Yay!
And it really, instead of just reading something and then we're going to talk about it, if you want to jump in at any time, like you get a point, just blah, blah. And let's go back and forth on this. I'm going to try to get through as much because I don't want to be boring and academic. But the angle that I'm thinking is it's going to be a topic about how we talk to non-kinky people in our lives about the things that we do and how we feel about it. Because inevitably, you're going to have conversations with every new person that you meet that's not kinky, family members that find out you're kinky. How do you have these conversations? And a lot of times what we do is we have some of these little catchphrases in BDSM. Like we've heard safe, sane, and consensual, rack, risk-aware, consensual, kink. There's the 3 C's. That's been making a lot of ground in the last couple of years, which is like consent, communication, caution. And then it's 4 C's if you add caring. Yeah, I think that was, God, I forget. I'm sorry, I can't plug them. They have an entire website. They do actual academia and write research papers and stuff like that. But I think they came up with the 3 C's. Okay. And then, of course, there's definitions like, for big words that we use, like consent, like Path Girl. If we're just in a conversation and I'm new and I'm like, well, what do you mean by consent in BDSM? What do you tell them?
Mm-hmm. Consent meaning you're doing something you're giving your okay to something. Like if you say to me, hey, do you consent to kissing me? Like you're basically asking, hey, can I kiss you? And I have the right to say yes or no, or put a pin in it and say maybe later. But basically asking permission to do something before you do it.
Okay, very good. So you have an answer to give. And a lot of times we have answers, but then there's times we get stuck. And there's a word I've been stuck on. And I just kind of keep it light. And it's very funny how near and dear it is to our heart. And we're Perverted Podcast. Mm-hmm. And I've been called I did a panel in a college, and I'm making jokes about being a pervert, pervert this, pervert that. Mm-hmm. And I noticed one of the students got really uncomfortable and actually raised their hand and said, why are you using this term to describe yourself? This is why are you bragging about being a horrible person? And I was like,
yeah.
And I realized that, hey, just because we use words playfully among ourselves,
right,
the rest of the world still has strong opinions about certain words that maybe we haven't updated that definition. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So surely enough, our fine listener, Twisted Logician, came in and tackled the very definition of perversion. Because, of course, what we know perversion is, it's always been a negative for since literally the 1400s. Perversion has been considered a negative. Perversion of justice, perversion of laws, and it's to basically take something out of its context and not do it in the way designed. So you're perverting it. And then, of course, in the 1800s, they started referring to sexual perversion as things. And we'll get into this, but I like this. So, Twisted Logician here. I have listened to every episode of Perverted Podcast. You poor bastard of a man. Sorry, and amazed, and thank you. 447 episodes. So I know that a more affirmative definition of perversion is yet to be discussed. You are correct. This is the first time. Even though it would be helpful. The dictionary tells us that perversion is a sexual behavior or desire that is considered abnormal and unacceptable. But that definition was written by someone else characterizing our behavior. It is not how we would describe ourselves. So, hi, how you doing? Doing good.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go ahead and roll this up so I don't hear your conversation. Okay, thanks. Fucking guy's literally leaning he's talking to his buddy in the car next to me, and he's literally seeing me talking on the microphone, and he's literally leaning in this guy.
Hi.
What's he doing? And I'm like, hi.
What's he doing? He's got a microphone. Is it
how
the
you
news?
Doing? Good. Fucking this is what recording a podcast is. So perversion is to the degree. Okay, I read that. Oh, so now he has his version, because obviously there's now a positive version of perversion, because obviously we've been doing the show for 11 years. People have been using the term in a much more playful way.
Yes.
And obviously anime with hentai, which means pervert. And there's been a change and a shift, but we haven't really addressed that in a definition. So his first draft of a definition of a newer version of perversion would be the degree to which curiosity, creativity, or courage are employed for sexual purposes. The degree to which curiosity, creativity, or courage are employed for sexual purposes. Now, this was the first one. We went back and forth on this over a few days and had some conversations. So at this point, what is your view of perversion? When you think of perversion.
It's interesting the way he put it, where to the degree the curiosity is employed for sexual purposes. It's interesting because he's obviously deviating from the quote unquote normal dictionary definition. So employing it as curiosity, I mean, I like that, because it's just verted to the outside world is like, it's something bad. You know what I mean? This pervert, lives next door. He's been doing stuff. You know what I mean? People have a bad connotation. So to spin it around as something, a positive, where it's basically, it's almost like perverting it is almost like diverting it in a different direction. That's the kind of gist I'm getting from it.
I'm totally with you on that. Now, this was the first draft. And I'm going to keep reading some of his points, and then we're going to get to some of the ways we saw some possible pitfalls in this.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to create a new word that replaces an old word, because the word is used as a negative for hundreds of years.
Right.
And it should be used as a negative. When you talk about perversion of justice, perversion of laws, in that way, we're talking about sexuality, and we're now giving a new positive angle on that. So he gets into a point. He goes into the creative. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm gonna jump a little bit.
Okay.
And he says, any combination of curiosity, creativity, and courage will do. I chose those qualities because they are mentioned so frequently on Perverted Podcast. They are also considered to be positive characteristics. To those who believe that sex should only be man on top, get it over with, make babies, curiosity, creativity, and courage are unnecessary and unwanted. As perverts, we disagree. Then he makes a point that I really enjoy, because this gets into the conversation of not being too stuck on words, which in this culture nowadays, we have a lot of problem with absolutes. So he says, also notice that our definition includes the phrase to the extent which, or the degree with, to the degree which curiosity. That is because there is no universally recognized line between normal and perverted. There's no gauge. There's no law. There's no place where all of a sudden it's like, oh, you do this, oh, that's perverted. You do this, oh, that's perverted. Because it's on a spectrum, just like with kink, just like with sadomasochism. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, but I think so many people get stuck on a word nowadays. And like you're referring to this, like they sit there and go, oh, perverted's bad. No, perverted is not bad. Perverted, it's a word in itself, and it depends on what context it's used in a sentence. You know what I mean? You could take any word and make it good or bad. Right. You know, I mean, there are plenty of things that we said when we were growing up, like, people say don't say the R word, meaning retarded. Like when we were growing up, you say, oh, you don't be a retard. We just meant that word as in don't be stupid, don't do stupid things. Versus nowadays, people have more of an appreciative of like retarded actually is a bad word, but I think people put so much power in words, and I think that's what a lot of today's culture is kind of stuck on, instead of actually going, what's your intent behind that word, especially even with perverted. I mean, there are plenty of times even on dating apps, people will be like, hey, I like being a little perverted, and they put a smiley face next to it, to try to tell people that they're kidding. But I like that he's trying to get away from like, we have to draw a line in the sand of like perverted's bad or perverted's good.
I totally agree, and I think it's important, along with what you said, that we understand that words, hopefully, are a jumping point to a deeper conversation.
Yes.
To asking, what do you mean by that? If we spent more of our time just asking that question, not assuming that my definition is the definition that everyone has in their head, and therefore if they're doing something that's slightly not my definition, then they're obviously bad or doing it wrong. And that's why it's so critical when you're talking to people, and especially when you're talking in your relationships, or you're explaining your kinks to people, or explaining to people who are maybe upset that they found out that you're kinky, going into that, what do you mean by that? Asking the person, what do you think BDSM is? Like to the new person, to the non-kinky person that's having a problem with your kink, like a family member or whatever that you came out to. What do you think it means? And then that way you're going to allow them to now share their opinion and definition, and now you know what they think. So now once you understand what they're talking about, what their definition is, that's where you can now come in and say, that's not what I think. And that is so critical in a conversation, and we sort of skip over that. We just kind of you know what I'm saying? You just assume that they know what you mean, and they may completely not know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we've always told people when they first start, like, like you see somebody on their dating profile, you see somebody who mentions it like, well, I'm kinky, and like, well, what does kink mean to you? And we've had the discussion where kink could be, for example, oh, I like pulling hair. Or even back when I was in my swinger days, it would be like, oh, I heard she's kinky. Oh, well, I could spank your ass. And it's like, no. I like more than spanking asses. I think redefining the word is great, but I agree with you where I don't want to create a whole new word, because there are so many times that like words get changed in our vernacular where it's like, well, we don't say this anymore, we say that. And then it's like, you're making it too exclusive when you're changing the word. I like having a definition of the word where it's basically like, I have to explain it. It's, I'd rather explain myself to people and say, kinky to me is, I liked being flogged. I liked having riding crops. Or kinky to you might be, I like using a violet wand. I like using chainsaw floggers and things like that. Your definition of a word and my definition of a word can be completely different. And I like the fact that he's trying to basically take a quote unquote bad word and making it more like a jumping off point for discussion,
I agree with you 100% on that. And that leads to our first revision. He revised it himself and added, I'm okay, I can't jump around. There's too much here. But as you just talked about, not inventing a new word or not breaking a word to make it a new word so it can now mean something different, which we've done a lot of that. And that is the normal evolution of words. But like I said before, going on the line of not wanting to kill perversion as now it's a total positive, I didn't agree with that. So I said, what if, so that way perversion can still have its negative connotations, we put the word ethical perversion.
Oh.
Just like they do with ethical slut, ethical non-monogamy.
Right.
So it kind of lets people know that, there's an ethical side of perversion, ? Inspires a conversation. And he had already jumped in and said, hey, we should also put consent in this definition because, once again, people that aren't involved in the lifestyle are going to see this as, this is possibly non-consensual, because he has a whole thing where he's like, obviously Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a good pervert. He molested kids. And so we don't want that level of perversion to all of a sudden be now interpreted as a good type of perversion. He gave a lot of other examples that there needs to be a differentiation between the two. And so the new version is ethical perversion is the degree to which curiosity, creativity, or courage are employed for consensual sexual purposes.
Oh, I like that.
Now we're getting, once again, and this is kind of the nerd, and we're playing with words, but when you actually think about what this means to you, and you can come up with, whether it's this definition, which of course I think is, people have spent time on this, or you create your own definition, you have to ask those questions. Is it about being curious? Is it about creativity? Is it courageous for me to step over my fears and insecurities about myself to use these ideas and curiosities for consensual sexual purposes? I mean, there's a lot in there that you can think about. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. And I definitely like the fact that he put the word ethical in front of it. And see, this is where I love where people kind of take the English language and put two words together that normally aren't together. And especially like if I've never even heard of the term ethical perversion. I mean, obviously I've heard of like the ethical slut and ethical used in different ethical non-monogamy. And then people are like, oh, I don't know what that is. Versus basically people are like non-monogamy. Oh, what do you mean by that? Ethical perversion, I think, is actually a wonderful way to describe it, because then that's going to get people saying, what do you mean by ethical? And then you can say, well, ethical means I have consent. Ethical means that we have a discussion beforehand, and get people talking about, instead of just getting hung up on the damn word, actually starting the conversation with people about, this is my idea about kink. This is my idea about, different activities I do in kink. What do you think about that? Having the conversation. That's one of the great things about our lifestyle and going out to events or even just talking online to people about, like, what does that mean to you? Getting down to the core of, ethical and versus non-ethical, and even non-ethical you could play with the way, because we talk about consensual non-consent, and people got kind of confused about, like, you're kind of like, you're taking two words together and they shouldn't go together. No, consensual non-consent means I'm consenting to something that I don't like doing, but I'm still doing it for either the pleasure of my partner or what have you. But I love that definition. That's a nice jumping off point to talk to people about stuff,
Ultimately, that's what all of this is.
Yeah.
And I think we've made that point. I think Twisted Logician did a lot of great work. And once again, this is not doing justice to all of the stuff that was written and then our conversations back and forth, but it really did, whether or not this is the new, academia definition or not, obviously it would have to be submitted to places and they would have to think and ponder. But once again, that's what makes this a better definition is because we are thinking about it and we are picking apart the words and we're saying, what does this mean to me? What does this mean to you? How are we including consent? Are we embracing the characteristics that we hope to be ethically in this lifestyle? And that's where we get the term ethical slut, because slut was always used as a very bad term. Non-monogamy. Oh, so that's just basically you're a cheater, or it just means that you fuck other people behind other people's back. So when we have these conversations and go, how can we spur a conversation? That's us all working together to get more opinions than just my own. So very good, messy, but thank you, Twisted Logician, and thank you for bearing with this conversation. And get out there and think about what you think before you speak. Don't take the example of me.
Uncle Creepy lurks around your bedroom. Once you're in his clutch, he penetrates the places where your mama said that good girls shouldn't touch.
Uncle Creepy.
I'm here, goddammit.
Okay. I'm sitting in this is like all covert, right? Because I'm back in the car. It was too hot in storage, so I'm back in the car. We're recording in the car. I'm in a parking lot. There's Panda Express and some makeup place and a Krispy Kreme donuts and a Wendy's. And I'm there, and I have my headphones on. I forgot how weird it looks because it's like there's stuff all over the dashboard, the recording equipment, and I got headphones on, and I'm holding a microphone and talking. And right as the show starts, the security guard drives by with the lights flashing, and they just look at me, but they don't stop. But it's just the weirdest, like, what the fuck is he doing?
But see, for Los Angeles, though, when I was a security guard, like, I would see fucked up shit, and I would just go, not today.
LA.
Not today.
It's LA. But, this is what's weird. Like, you got homeless people jerking off into trash cans, and this is what seems weird, a guy, like, talking on a microphone in his car.
Well, you normally see homeless people jerking off into trash cans. You don't normally see a recently head-injured man screaming into a microphone about sex with movie stars.
Which, by the way, I'm kind of excited about that. Do you have any shenanigans to talk about before we get into our musician fantasy segment that our listeners help with?
Yes.
You just got laid, didn't you?
Oh, my God. It's Astera, so we're celebrating the spring equinox by fucking. Me and Mina just
how very Viking of you,
dude. Like, I took her, like, I grabbed her and I was like, "Listen, we need to give our bodies to this god and let's do some fucking." And we did. And she's all super excited and horny because she's going with one of our new partners to this like a femdom open house dungeon taster.
Oh, nice.
Thing that's like an all day. Yeah, it's like an all day taster, I guess you could describe it as such.
But just female dominance.
Yes.
Or female dominance. So male dominance can go, but only the female dominants are allowed to play or do the tasters or stuff like that.
Well, yes. It's very similar to the one at the previous place.
Right.
That we used to go to. But this specific one, I believe... this round is open for anybody. Anybody can go.
Oh, okay.
The scenes later in the evening all have to be female or female presenting topped.
Okay, cool.
But when it's a closed event, no
penis is allowed.
On the top. Penis is allowed on top. Yeah, no scenes led by. So I was like, well, I'm just going to get in an argument with everybody, so I'm not going to go. And I've complained about before, I'm just so inundated that I was like, I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to stay home and relax and get stuff done at the house and
let her go play with the new lover, because you said the new lover is a top, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mina's yeah. Well, Mina switches a little, doesn't she?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then
she's 100% submissive.
So she's hooked up. She's got someone to top if she needs a top, and then of course there'll be other female dominants there that she can play with, and
yeah,
it'll be.
And it's like a taster booth. So
I always kind of, and I'm just gonna, this is just top to top.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean, I worked at Threshold, and so I was there, and if they needed things or whatever, the party was right there. But it's like maybe grab a snack. But what the hell am I going to do at a femdom party? I'm a top. I mean, it's like hang out, and I surely wouldn't pay to go to that.
No,
like I'm just going to sit there and be like, be supportive, go have a good time. It's like that party is for that. You guys go and do your thing.
Well, me being the uber dominant that I am,
sure,
I allow myself to learn things from all walks of life, including female dominance. Sometimes,
so you mean you're going to watch and learn and stuff?
Sometimes, yeah. I normally stay away from like play parties where there's like this sort of a thing, gender specific or top specific or bottom specific kind of. I don't like going to those kind of parties. Like if I'm going to go to a party and pay, I want to get my freak on in the way that I want to get.
Yeah, you want to play.
I don't knock it. Yeah, I don't want to knock it. It's great, but I think that if it were to be, I don't even know. It's not my party, so I can't say
it's not your party. And we've talked about that.
I go to learn.
We've talked about that a lot on the show, that's why you have specific parties. If you have a specific, and totally understand that a lot of male submissives complain that they feel intimidated by like male dominant energy, like they're being looked down on or they're being shamed because they're a male. There's all of these, any different reasons. There's people that are gender or race or whatever that, everyone can have whatever fucking party they want and be specific about it. And that's your party. So, and I don't have to go to every party. I don't get butthurt because there's a female dominant party. I'm like, go have your night. Or if there's a high protocol party where everyone's expected to wear a suit and do certain things. I've never worn a suit in a freaking dungeon, and I'm not gonna. So I'm not going to go to that party, but it doesn't mean I'm going to shoot down that people have that party. You should have that party. It sucks if it's the only party available in your city and it's something that you're not into or that you're not going to be able to play at. But, there's usually, if there's one party in a city, there's going to be a different party that kind of meets what you do.
Yeah, and with that being said, like, if I also throw back with that old sentiment of like, if you don't like it, start your own thing. Like,
sure.
It's I think it's a very good example of like the market leaning towards, what is that called? The market gives way to the needs of the people,
supply and demand.
Supply and demand is definitely there. So, but this is a great adventure for Mina. She has never done anything like this before. So I'm definitely giving her that gentle push and reassurance that I'm okay with it. I want her to have fun. We've already discussed any sort of like play with others, and we've already talked about, what communication she wants from me, which I said, if you want to tell me you're safe there and then otherwise have fun, or if you want to, need reassurance or you want to talk about anything, I will be there. And,
sure.
I'm excited. This is a big step for our relationship, and I'm ready to take that step.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Let's talk about a situation where we have absolute control over what goes down, and that is our motherfucking fantasies. Okay. Uncle Creepy, I put out the word on a FetLife group, on our Perverted Podcast FetLife group, and I asked this question, which of course was met with many mixed reactions, and we're going to read those. We haven't done a celebrity fantasy in a while, and we usually do like movie stars and actors and stuff like that. I don't know if we've done musicians in a while, so I put out describe a play scene that you would want to have with the musician, rock star, whatever of your choice, living or dead. And we did get quite a few responses. And then, of course, you and I get to share our fantasy. Once again, to bitch, some people just gave lists of people and didn't describe what they wanted to do with that person. Okay. So maybe that was my fault. I didn't thoroughly that this is, we're talking about on the show. So you can give some description. But we did have some fun answers. Bayside Bunny, tough question, but after a minute or so of debating, Olivia Newton-John at the end of Greased, when she casts aside Sandra Dee, it really made you think there's a subtle side with an absolutely wild side.
Tell me about it, stud.
Oh, yes. I think many of us. I think that was the first, because for those of you that are young, sorry, you have to go watch the movie Grease. It's a musical from the 70s. It was super huge, and they've made musicals out of it and whatever. But when she came out, she was Sandra Dee, and she was like, all prim and proper. And then at the end, John Travolta got her turned around, and she came out in like this tight black leather kind of outfit, which was probably my first exposure to like the black leather dominant kind of BDSM look. And I was like, whoa, what are these tingles? These are super tingly. Did you ever see Grease?
Absolutely. And I want to say that, like, with the Venn diagram of kink and theater, I think we're pretty close to the people listening to the show are definitely into musical theater.
Okay.
I'm going to say absolutely. My favorite part about that is that just how quickly she went from like, well, if I'm not virginal kind of demure, let's just be a slutty whore type, and then they went straight to heaven.
It's straight to heaven. It's a great epiphany. It's a great epiphany. Stop being prude. Stop denying yourself your sexuality. Turn into a whore slut like all of us. And it's joy. It's pure joy with no consequence.
No.
Okay, maybe there could be a little consequence, but that's why we do the show and try to mitigate some of those risks. But I like that one. And then Paddle Bob jumps in. Good old fucking Paddle Bob.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, a threesome with Kate Bush and Nancy Sinatra in those boots walking around would go well for me. These boots are made for walking. Oh my God. That really was like, if you've never heard Boots Are Made for Walking by Nancy Sinatra, even though it's like so 60s, and it really is, it's just a sexy fucking, I don't know why. It just kind of, I'm with him. I'm with him on that. Alt Anthony, Jane Wielden from the Go-Go's.
Yeah.
Jane, the guitar player from the Go-Go's. And then I'm like, so what would you do with her? And he's like, anything she wants. First off, that she would just talk to me.
Isn't there like a thing where where they weren't they like really big into like men groupies, and they would have like sex orgies and stuff?
Supposedly there was a lot of stuff. Well, Jane is fully kinky. Jane is 100% kink. I don't know if I've looked for her on FetLife. I know she's in the scene. She's been a big advocate. She hosted an MTV episode once, like literally in the 90s, like the early 90s. And she literally made it a dungeon and did all this BDSM stuff. And like, she's always been, she was like a pioneer before pioneers. And I think the vibe was like, I'm kind of trying to show you how fun this is, kind of things. But yeah, Jane is kinky. Jane is flat up kinky.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure I think she's a switch. I think I've seen a couple clips with her talking about it. You'd have to look her up.
I'm gonna now. Yeah.
So good old fucking Jane.
Cool.
Buns. Now, I got to love Buns 518 for this one because she just came in with the slut. I love it. I'm excited about it. She said, someone from my generation has to say it. So I'll fall on a sword. I just happened to fall into a hotel room with the Backstreet Boys. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All 5 of them. Group play is where it's at. Line up, boys.
That's good.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Getting pounded by all 5 of the Backstreet Boys. Before they made any money, while they were still being ripped off by the manager. Because they're hungry. Because they're hungry.
Yeah,
that's all they get. That's their only. They don't have any money. They're all broke, but they can take payment and poon payment, poonment.
Yeah, PP. Yeah,
they could take poonment.
And you know what? And she can make them dance while they're waiting. You know, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh
she
yeah,
can do
yeah,
with
yeah.
that. I appreciate her for
just a 5-on-1. Just a 5-on-1. Yeah. They'll all do it. They're all, and who knows? I don't know if any of them are bi. I think one of them's gay or whatever. But tough shit. This is her fantasy.
Yeah, you're all straight.
You're all straight enough. And if you're bi and she wants you to all do stuff with each other, that's what a fantasy's for. Start fucking each other. Get over it.
Yeah, she wants it that way.
Tell me why. Is that Backstreet Boys or NSYNC?
That's Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me
it's
why.
When they're in like an airport and they're singing to their fans. And
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along. We got a few more and then we'll do ours. Unger just gives a list. Unger just literally sat back in a chair, lit a cigar, poured himself a whiskey, and went back through a list of like 75. Most of them, he's got a thing for 80s punk. Pretty much everyone growing up in the 80s, kind of thing. And he was into the punk. So I'm only going to list a few because he listed Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics. Had a mohawk hair. She was on stage topless almost all the time in the 80s. It just like explosions, dynamite. She was fucking nuts. She was nuts. So I'm like, okay, I could understand that as long as you could chain her down. She recently killed herself in the last few years. But end of fantasy. Pretty much. And then he had polystyrene. She sang about bondage and stuff like that. He loves her presence. He went off. Then this one I'll go with. Pretty much everyone growing up in the 80s had some level of sexual awakening at the moment, focused on Susanna Hoffs in the Walk Like an Egyptian video.
Yeah, I had to look it up to remind myself.
From the Bangles. And that look and whatever, which reminds me of my tingly moment, was Joan Jett from Joan Jett and the Blackhearts when she sang Crimson and Clover. I cannot tell you how in love I was with Joan Jett. I know she's a lesbian. Don't care. My fantasy. Fuck off. You like dick. Yeah. You like my dick. You want me, Joan Jett. Oh, my God. Bad Reputation and Do You Want to Touch Me There? Oh, my God. She just dripped.
She knew.
With that brunette. That's where I fell in love with brunettes, was Joan Jett.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It was just brunettes, and she brought the just grit and rock and sexiness. So, yeah.
A little bit before me, I was always a Pat Benatar fan. My dad loved it.
Pat Benatar was super sexy. And she could sing, dude, those pipes. She still sings like that. She's like 300 years old.
Yeah.
And she still blares it out. He listed Poison Ivy from, what's the Cramps?
Nope, don't know it.
Goo Goo Muck. A lot of you guys know Goo Goo Muck now from the Addams Family with that Wednesday. From Wednesday. And Goo Goo Muck was big. Poison Ivy was a guitar player and super sexy.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, Smart Lass. Great question. Now, you can tell Smart Lass has thought about this shit prior to this show. Great question. Tough to answer. Sure. So many good options, but 2 final picks. For the male category, she's going to go with Prince. Watching him play guitar and what he does with those hands, I imagine that genius and freakiness might transition well into a kink scene. And next, she goes with Kate Bush, 2 for Kate Bush. What can I say? Creative people do it best. And she also has a kinks for voices. And then I'm like, hey, well, what are you going to do with Prince? And she's like, what'll start? Probably some role play. Thinking like one of his songs, If I Was Your Girlfriend, or I Would Die For You. It's all energy and passion for good fear play. Darling Nikki has a good cadence for impact. When You Were Mine for some rope bondage. Yeah, wow. You haven't thought about this. Oh, and I think he incorporates his guitars musically and however else Prince creatively uses a guitar in a kink scene, of course. And show his chest. You know, that open jacket that he did. He's Prince.
And his butt cheeks.
Yeah.
Remember his MTV suit? He had his little butt cheeks out.
I do not remember that. And so she goes on. It's like literally goes on and on. He may be short, but he has huge presence and would no doubt be dominant as fuck with or without his heels.
Yeah.
So.
And then after, like, she could bathe herself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka. He'll serve you pancakes after.
Yeah, there you go. So we have ours, and so that's some of our listeners jumped in. Thank you for joining in on that. Mine's pretty quick. You have one. What's yours?
I've adapted it because, I created this big old story, but I misunderstood the
yeah, I'm like, let's not do the Uncle Creepy Harlequin romance version. Cut it to a minute or so.
All right, so I'm going to go quick. The first was an erotic role play scene, music theater, of course. Bernadette Peters and Sutton Foster.
Now, which is Bernadette Peters? I know that name.
Bernadette Peters. She was in a lot of stuff. What would you know her
I thought
from?
she was a comedian.
She is, but
was she in bands?
No, she was mostly musical theater. She was she was the girlfriend in The Jerk. You might know The Jerk. She was the girl in Jerk.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe. Oh, okay. Oh, Bernadette Peters. Oh, yes. I was thinking someone totally else. I know who fucking Bernadette Peters is. Jesus Christ.
Okay. She was also the Rooster's weird girlfriend in Annie.
She did music. Yeah. Okay. So what are you going to do with her?
She did a lot of musical theater. Well, it was a double team with Sutton Foster. Now, of course, Sutton Foster is a hot, blonde bombshell, great pipes, great body. They both have great bodies. Bernadette Peters has had red hair for the longest time, which is one of my kinks. But the whole idea was that, I would go out and audition them for this role that I had. And they were both like fighting each other over it. I mean, they're both different, but the same. They both were at the top of their game for their time.
Right.
So they would audition, and I was like, well, you both did great. I don't know what to do. And then they were like, well, maybe we could talk about this in the green room. And we go back, and they both fight over me, and they both do, all the good sexual erotic stuff that I wrote out. And then I'm going to have to
put it on the FetLife group.
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll post it.
Post it. My erotic story. Make it its own post. Boogie fucking curtailed my magic, my fantasy. Here's my long-term fantasy.
You might not be the asshole, baby, don't sweat it. We're gonna tweak your brain nipples and you won't regret it. Talking about your stuff that you're asking all about on Reddit.
All right, so we have a topic. Now, listen, it sounds like it's going to be heavy or something, but I don't think it is. We don't talk about race or race play on the show traditionally because we're dumb we're only one race, so there's never really there's never a point of view that's going to be different. But I don't really think this is that. So I'm going to just read it, and then we're going to just talk about it kind of as its own its own thing. So the person was dealing with a racial power dynamic. I'm a brown girl, and I've recently discovered that dominant submission with older white men really makes me happy and helps with my past trauma. I have had online conversations with a few people, but I haven't done anything more than that. The problem is after such a conversation, I feel extreme shame and guilt why it excites me this much. How do you deal with it? Appreciate your thoughts. So once again, when you read something like that, there's a little thing in the white brain that says, warning, warning, don't jump into this. But it really is about somebody feeling shame for having a desire.
Yeah.
That's kind of the angle that I take on this. And that there's a lot of reasons why you have a desire, but ultimately the guilt and the shame about a desire, regardless of the play, is really where my kind of focus is, and not so much on the fact that she is turned on by some sort of race issue in play. So I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Yeah, I feel exactly how you did. I saw that as like, you met. There's the first couple letters is like the race thing, and I was like, oh shit. And then as I read it, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's replace race play with diaper play or rope play or anything else. People could feel shame in any sense of and way. So I think the hardest part, I think, for her is going to actually follow through with something like that. She's talked about online conversations, but hasn't done anything more with that. So I think either A, this is going to be like a one-off sort of thing where it maybe happens in real life and they do a scene with somebody, or maybe she starts dating an older white man and comes to reality that like, oh, this is just the fantasy. That's what makes me, turned on, not the actual following through.
Sure.
Or it's going to be a great humiliation kink for her, and they can really lean into that in a safe and healthy way to, enjoy this type of play. I think if she at least follows through with the play, and it still comes up as being shameful and guilty in a negative way that doesn't turn her on, then I think that's where she's going to start to have a bigger problem.
I think so. I totally agree with that. You don't know what's going to happen until it happens, and what gets you turned on in your head may not actually work in reality. There's a lot of fantasies that make really piss poor realities. I heard a comedian say that like 40 years ago, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And it really does. The things that I ask questions on is because she says the thought of it really makes her happy and helps her with her past trauma. So there's a lot of questions here that I would have to ask. Obviously, first off, your fantasies are your fantasies. Don't let voices outside of your head dictate what turns you on, because it's never going to work. That's like telling somebody not to be gay. It's like telling someone, don't be turned on by that. And then you think about it and you're like, you're not supposed to turn me on, but somehow my genitalia is engorged. Sorry, I'm bad. And that's what we really want to avoid. We want to avoid that I'm bad. Whatever the reasons are that you are turned on or feel comfort from this, whatever it is, that's in your head right now. What we want to make sure is that the actions that follow the fantasy aren't harmful to you or other people. That this may be, because could be a million reasons for this. My suggestion is always going to be, if you have a fantasy that pokes you in the guilt or shame or whatever, then you need to go a little bit beyond that fantasy and say, what about the fantasy is actually, in this case, comforting and makes her feel comfortable getting over her trauma. What was your trauma? Because there can be a lot of reasons for why this helps you feel comfortable in your trauma. It could be maybe you had trauma with somebody of the same race as you, and so now you have a more comfortable feeling, not trusting somebody from a different race. It could be that it was somebody that somebody assaulted you or harmed you from that was white, and then now it's like a challenge. It's like a taboo challenge, where it turns you on, and that help. There's a million angles that it could be, and you need to kind of dig into that a little bit. So you can be like, well, what is it? Because that's where you're going to find out whether this is positive or negative. It could just be, it's just I get super turned on by like all sorts of different cultures, Scandinavian women and Asian women and Brazilian. And of course, there's like 15 countries in Africa that, I have, different lusts and personalities and cultures, so there's a lot of things that you can ask why, and then just kind of move from there. Because it doesn't mean that you're a bad person if you have a preference. There's no issue on a preference. In the last few years, we've had a bunch of conflicts with people telling us who we're supposed to be attracted to, and that you have to like this, and you can't date this, and you're a racist if you do this, and you're a transphobe if you don't want to have sex with trans people, and blah 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 blah. There's been all that, and I really want to move us away from that. You be attracted to whoever the fuck you're attracted to, and stop letting people tell you how you're supposed to love or what you're supposed to love. If that's your preference, that's your preference. As long as you're not doing it in a negative, mean way towards somebody or an abusive way towards somebody, that I only like you because you're this. Now you're fetishizing someone, so there's no intimacy for that other person. That's negative. But
I think it's.
Go ahead.
Well, I think if it becomes a like you said, a fetish, or if it becomes a negative if it becomes negative for them to create a positive for you, then I think that's where you need to introspect and find out why exactly this is happening. I agree with you. I don't think that somebody should tell you how something should be, especially when it comes to your own feeling. If you're not harming anyone and you're not creating a situation that harms others, then or harming yourself, then I think be free to let your freak flag fly.
I wrote a song called Freak Flag Fly. And after saying it 300 times, I still couldn't fucking say it.
Wow, freak flag fly.
Freak flag fly.
All right. So, but I wanted to talk about a little bit something that I just noticed is it the trauma that makes her feel shame and guilt, or is it because she enjoys that deep dive into that trauma that gives her the shame and guilt? The trauma seems to be where I would divulge or divert from one piece of advice or another, is that if it's shame and guilt because of the trauma, then you're going to definitely need to probably go through this with either a therapist or some sort of guided therapy that will help you with that. But if it's the shame and guilt of being happy that you're flipping the script on your trauma, then I think that sounds pretty healthy and enjoyable. And I do like it when people are able to take past traumas and make them become a positive for them instead of a trauma.
And I think most importantly is a final note of what we haven't added, which is the most obvious. You and I are older white men, and I am available to guide this young lady through
anything.
Whatever. We're there. Perverted Podcast at gmail.com. If you
you're top tier at shame and guilt.
Top tier. I can live in that.
Ladies, if you'd like to put in your application to make love to Boogie, you can do it at pervertedpodcast@gmail.com. I will not be submitting an application. Thank you very much.
That's right. Your denial's cute, though. I think it's kind of cute.
Yes.
It's all right.
Yeah, yes. Denial ain't just a river in Egypt, you know. And with that is the end of show 447. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you'd like us to talk about, please reach out to us at pervertedpodcast@gmail.com or find us on TikTok and Instagram under the name Perverted Podcast. And on FetLife, there is both a group and a page. You could support the show by liking this episode or subscribing to it. And don't forget to share the show with your kinky friends to help other kinksters like you find us. And if you'd like to support the show a little bit more, please go to patreon.com/perverted podcast and sign up for our $5 if you give a fuck level to become a pee-pee sugar zombie. And with that support, you get our show a few days early and our Patreon exclusive half a pee-pee episodes where all of us together with Uncle Creepy and is only for our patrons. And of course, love and smushy kisses to our patrons around the world. Your support means the world to us.
And if you're ever at a Starbucks and you see some loser with headphones talking into a microphone, just give him a little space. Just literally, I feel it over my shoulder. I'm like, the fuck? And he's like, this is interesting. Like he was having a full conversation with somebody in the car next to me. And he's like, this is far more interesting. What are you doing?
How you doing?
Just going to go ahead and...
I heard perverted. I'm perverted too, you know.
Oh, I've had those conversations where you people are like, oh, you do kinky. Oh my God, I want to be tied to this tree and fucked in the ass right now. Okay, good guy. Good on you.
Thanks.
Go bro.
Go
Midnight conversations in the gym parking lot that go awry. Sometimes when you have conversations, Path Girl, you just have to realize that you're going to open a Pandora's box, and if nobody's ever had that chance to have the conversation they've been wanting to have, they're going to blurt all that at your feet. That's why we do this show, ladies and gentlemen. We just have conversations and work it out together. We're doing this together. We need each other. Otherwise, we just have one stupid opinion that is inevitably going to go bad. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on the next big show.
Bye.